welcome everyone here. Another show of Agency Tribe Living Las Vegas. I'm one of the hosts, Pete. Got Yvonne, a co-host. How's it going?
Good.
Yeah, we have a
Today,
special guest here.
yes, we have a special guest today, and it is, drum roll, his name is Zach Morris.
It's like Saved by the Bell, right?
That's the one.
That's right.
How do you know that, Pete?
Everyone that grew up in the 90s is
A very specific generation knows Zach Morris.
He was like, what? That's his name? I said, yes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Zach, just give us a little background for the audience.
Perfect. Well, Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell. Best friend Slater, you know.
Oh my gosh.
No, I'm an attorney here in Las Vegas.
Yes.
I have been in practice just over 8 years now, like 8.5 years. So I grew up here. I grew up in the Green Valley area. My dad is an attorney. I work with him and my brother. He started the firm about 35 years ago. My grandpa, he was an attorney here in town, a big commercial litigator.
Wow.
Grandma, she's a Supreme Court justice here. So we just come from a long kind of heritage of attorneys here in the Las Vegas area.
Oh my God.
But we just do estate planning. So we do estate planning. We do probate administrations, trust administrations. And that's really the only areas of law that we focus on and do.
So Zach, you're like the fourth generation?
Third generation. Two of my grandparents, both attorneys here. Dad's an attorney. My older brother's an attorney. I'm an attorney. And we got one more brother. He just signed up for the LSAT today. He got registered to take it here in a few weeks. So we'll see what he ends up doing.
So is your family going to be like the new Morgan & Morgan?
No, I don't think you'll find us on a billboard. The numbers don't work out very well for estate planners on billboards.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no.
Personal injury, I think, right?
Yeah, they're pretty expensive. Last time I looked was like a decade ago, and it was like $10,000 a month for a billboard, depending on like where you're at. And so you have more than just the cost of the billboard when you acquire a client. So it's like, as a personal injury attorney, you get one case that comes in that pays $40,000. You paid for your billboard. I got to do a lot of cases to pay for that billboard every month. So it doesn't, the numbers don't crunch out right.
It doesn't translate.
No. And they're a little tacky anyways. So we like to be a little more professional with our outreach.
Awesome. Okay. So when you say you are a probate, trust, and estate attorney, right? So there's like different stages to it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And really what we like to do, we like to get in way ahead of time and make sure that we're avoiding heavy administrations, avoiding probate as much as we can, just because it's time consuming, it's costly. I mean, people go through it with their parents and then they call me so their kids don't have to go through it, because typically it's a pretty negative experience for most people.
Yes.
So we like to get in on the front end and do the estate planning. And then my dad's been in business for 35 years. So now he has a lot of clients passing away. And so we're here working with their kids. We built the plans. We've kept them up to date over the years. And then we're here when the parents pass away to make sure things go smoothly and the way the parents intended.
Oh, wow.
And then on the probate side, sometimes things get left out. I mean, despite all our efforts to create a good plan and make sure things are taken care of, we can't control everything on our end. Some of it is up to the clients and the people to make sure that things get put into that trust. And if they don't, we're here. We can do like an abbreviated probate to make sure things get back into the trust, and really short on the probate side, heavy on the trust side. But I mean, we're here just to kind of help wherever people are at, whether they're in the messy situation administratively or they're coming in at the very beginning to avoid that messy situation.
Okay. So can you kind of walk us through, Pete, I know, was like looking for a attorney to create a trust, right, Pete?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's start with Pete. Like, let's say he's a client to, potential client. In my olden days when I used to work for attorneys, we call them PNC.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys use that.
Yeah, and we just, I don't know, just clients. We're not super heavy on like all the tracking. We could do better on this part as far as like when a lead comes in, making sure we're following up until they get into the pipeline.
Yeah.
I mean, we're pretty busy with just our pipeline of people who are ready to move forward.
Yeah.
Where we don't have a lot of bandwidth to like chase after clients kind of thing.
Okay.
I mean, we're working on that part, but we're just trying to kind of make sure we're servicing the clients who are ready to move forward and don't need to be chased down.
You guys have a big, would you consider yourself a big firm, a medium-sized firm, or like how big is your team and staff?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think we'd be considered a boutique law firm still. I mean, we're pretty small. So we just have 3 attorneys. It's me, my brother, my dad. When I came out of law school, I mean, my dad, he practiced forever just by himself, and it was him and 3 staff. And then my brother came on, and it was those 2 attorneys and 3 staff. And then I came on, and there was 3 attorneys and 3 staff. So there were some bottlenecks that came with kind of growing heavy on the attorney side and light on the staff side.
Yeah.
But now we've grown the team. We have really 6 full-time staff. So we have a estate planning paralegal, a probate paralegal. They've been with us 25 and 35 years. We have 3. Yeah. We like to take care of our employees.
That's really good. That's so
I mean, they're awesome. I mean, they're the best in town at what they do. And they're great to work with. I rely on them every day for their experience in their respective areas.
Yeah.
And then we have a team of support staff. So we have like a file clerk. We have a receptionist who answers phones and calendars and takes care of some of our business filings for our clients. And then we have a legal assistant who's kind of training into a paralegal role right now. And then, I mean, we've been implementing systems to try to like make things more efficient and more automated on the back end. So we're working on those before we build out the team any farther. But I mean, the whole idea is like we want to make sure we provide the best possible client experience. So that means kind of having computers do the thing computers are good at so that people can do the things people are good at.
Yeah. Okay. So Pete, like, what would you do if you were like, what do we do as a layperson? Let's say we wanted to make sure that we're not going to have to go through the probate pain, right?
Yeah.
The double P, because it really is painful. Yeah.
It can last long. Sometimes I remember a couple probate deals I did, like right when accepted offer, the court wouldn't start until like 2 months. They'd be backed up for some reason. I think this was 2 years ago. Maybe it's faster now.
Yeah, that was, let's see, 2 years ago, 2024. We were still coming off of the tail end of like COVID.
Yeah.
And I mean, here's kind of the history on probate here in the Valley.
Yeah.
When my dad started practice, the population here in Las Vegas was like, I don't know, 300,000 people ish. I mean, it is back.
Zach, like, what is your dad's name, by the way?
Greg Morris.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, we're talking late 80s.
Yeah.
I mean, the population just exploded. But when he started practice, there was 1 probate commissioner and like 1 assistant to that commissioner. And fast forward to, I'm going to get these dates a little bit wrong, but I mean, around 2022, 2021, we still had one probate commissioner and just a couple staff. So it's like the population had grown tenfold, and we still had the same amount of people servicing probate cases.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, they were just extraordinarily busy, like really backed up things. Pete, you're right. I mean, they were just taking forever. We could go a few months before we got a hearing date on things. And they had some growing pains as they were trying to kind of expand. They added a second commissioner.
Yes, you just recently got the second commissioner, maybe like less than 9 months, right?
Yeah, it's like a year and a half.
I'm
really bad with some of these time spans. I get outside of like a week, and it might as well have been a year ago. So we're just focused on the next day over here.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say we're gonna like go to your office, we make an appointment, and we're like, we gotta, get our trust set up, right?
Yeah.
Is that the first step of what we should do?
Yeah. And we can start that conversation with you. A lot of people have done some kind of research and read up a little bit on what they need to do. But generally, I like to just start from the basics. And we're of the mentality, we want to give the simplest possible solution for your problems.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'll sit down with clients and say, hey, you're probably okay just having these basic things. And maybe I'm not the best fit for you right now. But if your circumstances change, come back and we'll make sure we get you taken care of. So
are you talking about the will versus a trust?
I mean, or even less. So, I mean, here's some realities is I'll typically start with clients, and as attorneys, I mean, we use the tools we have available to us. A will is one of those tools. Trust is one of those tools. So there are just some like built-in mechanics in the assets you own that determine what happens to those assets. Okay. So the first, I mean, this for like personal property is possession, which on the planning end, we don't deal too much with personal property, but like if you let your neighbor borrow your lawnmower and you pass away, there's a good chance he just keeps your lawnmower. And your kids will never see it. Or it's like you let your kid borrow a wedding ring or jewelry or whatever. They'll probably just keep it because they have it in their possession, right? I mean, so that's the very first. The next one is ownership. Okay. So if you have like a bank account and you co-own it with your spouse and you pass away, your spouse is the surviving owner of that account. It's just going to go to that spouse. Sometimes with our older clients, they will have put one of their kids on their bank accounts just to help them pay their bills type of thing. I generally don't recommend that for a number of reasons, but it does create a succession there. Is you die as the original owner, your kid is the remaining co-owner, and now it's just theirs when you pass away. So with your guys' industry, real property, we also have joint ownership situations. In Nevada, we have different forms of titling, whether that's joint tenancy, which gives you rights of survivorship here. We also have community property, which gives you rights of survivorship. And then we have community property with rights of survivorship. So there's some like distinctions there that do have real consequences, but I mean, those have baked in some rights of survivorship. So if something happens to you, it's just going to go 100% to that joint owner with you. There are forms of titling that do not have rights of survivorship. So you got to be careful. If you think you both own it, you got to make sure you own it the correct way to ensure we have those rights of survivorship. So that's the second one. First one is ownership. Second one, if we can't have a co-owner, we don't have a co-owner on something, we can name beneficiaries for a lot of things. So we're talking bank accounts, retirement accounts, life insurance policies. Generally, like there is a deed upon death, which it's kind of like naming a beneficiary of your home. We don't like those in practice. The concept of them is a great idea. But in practice, like getting title insurance on a home that you just received a week ago through deed upon death is a nightmare. we prefer to go through probate than to go through that title verification process in a lot of circumstances. So we don't even touch them at our firm. And then the last one is going to be if you don't have a joint owner and you don't have a beneficiary named for whatever reason, you're going to end up in probate. So the court is going to oversee the passing of your assets to whoever you have named. And whether that's because you have no will, the court will have a set of default rules on distribution for you. If you have a will, the will is basically just instructions for the court to follow. So if you have like some default heirs, the will lets you override those and say, here's where you want things to go.
You know, I had a question. Since you've been in Vegas this long, do you feel like a lot of the survivors, the spouses, people that have to be involved in this, they don't even live in Las Vegas. A lot of them are out of state, or I felt like that's how it is.
Very common, very common. And I saw a map. I saw some kind of post, and it was saying, and it was a map of the United States and had every state colored, and it said the percentage of like people who were born in the state who grew up and stayed in the state, and Nevada was at the very bottom of that chart, like the very bottom. And we were a very transient city. I mean, a lot of people come here from California or wherever to earn a quick buck on the strip, being valets or bartenders or whatever it is.
Right.
And then they go back to their families when they have accomplished kind of the earnings that they wanted to get. I think that is changing now. We are starting to see more people stick around. And I think in part, I mean, we have things for the community now, and we have a professional hockey team that everybody just loves.
It's a sense of community more now.
It is. I mean, you have, and I mean, it sounds cliche. I mean, we got the Raiders. Some people, and as much as some people like to bash on the Raiders, we've been a pretty bad team so far. But those kinds of things, I think, create glue in a community. And we are starting to see more of probably my generation stick around.
Zach, do you mind me asking what is your like your bar number? Because I'll tell you, I used to work for attorneys.
Yeah.
And the youngest attorney that was, that I used to work for, their number started at 8,000.
My bar number starts with a 15,000. So
15,000?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So 15069 is my bar number, and they're well beyond that now. I mean, it's been.
Did you go to school in Las Vegas?
Yeah, so I went to UNLV's Boyd School of Law.
I had a question. Because our Zillow Flex team, we receive leads in Mesquite.
Yeah.
And one of our president of, I think, the Mesquite real estate, she sources a lot of leads from probate. So I felt like, would you have not thought of like expanding in some like snowbird market or downsizer place like there? And it's almost like, it sounds like
I mean, we get a fair number of clients coming in from Mesquite.
Vegas. Mesquite. Okay.
Yeah. Just because like the people moving out to Mesquite, they know they're going to have to come into town for stuff. I mean, they're coming into town to meet with better doctors, and they're coming into town. So it's worth it for those people to drive in to town for good professional assistance. But no, we help a number of people. It's still Clark County out there.
Yep. It is.
So like all the administrative processes are all the same. For people coming in from there. We get people in from Nye County as well.
Pahrump then, right?
Yeah, from Pahrump. Not
Laughlin or
Laughlin. Yeah, I mean we get some of that. And most of the stuff is done remote these days. I mean on a probate.
Yeah.
I mean I got people calling in from out east all the time. I can get the ball rolling, and I mean just have them e-sign things and do a video call like this, and just really they can get everything done without ever coming to town. As long as they get, like, if there's a home, they need a good team who can come in, take care of the house, get things cleaned up. But it's possible to do it without ever coming into town.
Yeah, we take care of that. We do a lot of clean outs. We have people who, we have a big team that actually like literally You just give us the keys, and we'll go through the whole process. You don't ever need to come to town for us. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then I had a question about the trust. When someone maybe had a trust in another state, they relocate here. Don't they have to maybe update it?
Yeah, I mean, not necessarily. I mean, a trust created in another state is valid here, but we are one of, I think, 7 or 8 jurisdictions who have like really fleshed out community property laws. And there's some great advantages to having community property. So a lot of times we like to just get them switched over for that sole reason. Some people say, no, maybe it's not worth it now, but if they have changes that they need to make, like they need to update who the fiduciaries are making decisions or update beneficiaries, we'll come in and just revamp it at that point as well. And then we got kind of California. They're doing what they do over there. We try to separate from California as much as possible, just so things don't get taxable in California. So if you have a trust that's created in California and it says in the document, we are going to apply California law, California says, hey, we get to tax that now. So
that's a tax benefit, huh, Zach?
Sorry, say that again.
I mean, that is a benefit for people to want to create their trust in Nevada.
Oh yeah.
Is there a requirement that like you have to have some kind of ties to Nevada before you do your trust here?
Yeah, I mean, and it depends on what you're trying to do. If somebody wants to come in and just do their planning here, sometimes we'll help them out. We say, hey, you got to come here. Like if you want to use our services, we can't come out of Nevada. But if we're doing things like some tax planning, I mean, we got to be really thorough, make sure the boxes are all checked, because one, if we do it wrong, California's just going to ignore it. 2, there's, just limitations on what can be done. So, and we're not going to sit down with a client and pretend that we have the silver bullet that will kill all taxes. but there's
awesome.
that would be awesome. And I would be very busy if that was the case. No, so we don't have a silver bullet, but I mean, there are some real strategies that you can implement and do make a difference.
So, okay, just so I'm clear, let's say somebody lives in New York, they own property in New York, sure. They're visiting here, and then they're like, oh my God, I saw this ad and I gotta do my trust. And they're like, okay, they call your office. What do you tell them? You're like, I can't help you. You have no assets in Nevada.
Yeah, first, like I like to work with people here. I like to be in the office and face to face with people. And I would say, hey, like why are you coming here? Like, sure, like I feel like I'm a good attorney. But yeah. I'm sure there's great attorneys in New York too, right? Unless there's a real reason to be down here.
No, I'm just curious. Is it like a requirement that you have to do your will, your will or your trust in the state that you live in, or it's not a requirement?
It's not a requirement. It's a practical, benefit to just, it's easier to do it where you're at. But no, sometimes people will come here. So let's say like you're in New York and you don't want to pay New York income taxes on a brokerage account that you have.
Yeah.
You can come to Nevada. You could set up a Nevada trust. You can pay somebody to be your trustee, which usually they kind of double as like a trustee / financial advisor. So they would manage your funds. The trust would be here. They would be your situs here. And for the income generated by that asset, we can make some steps to apply Nevada law. Again, it's a little more complicated than that, but that's kind of the basics of how that would work.
Wow. That was really cool, huh? I didn't know that. Good information. I was just curious. Okay, so I've heard about the Nevada Asset Protection Trust, which I think is like amazing because you own the you manage the assets, but you don't own it, right? But if somebody has that kind of trust, they still need to Jay, we just saw Jay, saying that it's very interesting. By the way, Jay, that's how you hide your assets. I didn't tell you that. But anyway, what I'm saying is if you have a Nevada asset protection trust, I know that there are requirements that you have to be, somehow tied to Nevada, but does somebody who have that also need to do a regular trust? And if so, what do you recommend, Zach?
Yeah, so it scales pretty fast when we get into asset protection planning. One, you have to ask yourself, is this worth it? And I'm talking more clients out of doing asset protection than I am actually doing those plans.
Really? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting.
It's like, think of your front door. It's like you have one, maybe two locks on your front door. So if you need to go check your mail, you flip your lock open the door, get your mail, come back in, lock the door again. Simple, right? Imagine the same door, but now you have 10 locks. One is a combination lock, one's a slider, a few key locks. Like, it would get really annoying to open your door and go check your mail. And probably you would stop using 9 out of 10 of those locks and just use the original, just barrel lock that's easy to unlock and lock. I have seen that so many times through the housing crash. We had so many of like these construction companies and builders that were going through these elaborate asset protection schemes, and they didn't understand them, like to the extent that they weren't even using their most basic estate planning tools. And so it's kind of that situation with the locks where they just stopped locking the door. And if they had gotten sued, the locks wouldn't have worked. Like, they would have found out, hey, I paid, I paid tens of thousands of dollars for this planning, and now it's done nothing for me because they weren't using it correctly. So that's always the first thing I come down to is this even worth it? Does it make sense? Do you have anything worth protecting? And then are you willing to go through the administrative hassles of protecting those assets? So like you said, we're looking at, one, do you have assets that can be protected? So a lot of times we're looking at, okay, do you have a home that's above the homestead exemption, right? And you have
over 650.
Yeah. Do you have a $2 million home? Do you have a substantial non-retirement savings? Okay. Because your 401k, your IRA have both state level and federal protections from creditors. And not all creditors. There's some gray area there, but there is some protection that you have from those types of accounts. Life insurance has protections. So a lot of people are kind of covered on some of those things, if that's where the bulk of their net worth is at. Two, do you have enough exposure to liability that this even makes sense? So if your only liability is just driving down the road, most of these personal injury attorneys, they're just turning and burning cases. They're not opening discovery to find out that you have $12,000 in your Wells Fargo account. It doesn't make sense for them.
And yeah, that's not going to be enough, is what you're saying.
Right. Yeah. So for the most part, they're just going after policy limits, right?
Yeah.
And so even though technically you might have some assets exposed, it's like, is it worth it for anybody to check that you have exposed assets? Okay. So, we're typically looking at high liability individuals. Doctors, architects, attorneys, business owners, just people who, by nature of what they do for a living, are opening themselves up to liability. So we're going to attack it from multiple angles. We're going to make sure they have the right business entities set up. There's two kinds of assets we're trying to protect: assets in motion and assets at rest. Assets in motions is if you're like a trucking company, your liability is driving down the road at 80 miles an hour, trying its best not to hit people. And then so we're trying to protect you from your drivers driving that truck down the road. And that LLC does a great job of doing that as long as you've used it correctly. And then on the personal side, if you have some assets that could be reached, like your home is an asset at rest. Right. Your brokerage account is an asset at rest. So we would use a Nevada asset protection trust to shield those assets from future creditors.
Okay, but does that, like, if you have your assets in your asset protection trust, do you still need to create the regular trust to avoid probate? I'm just confused. Like,
it's a big. Usually I have like a whiteboard or a paper that I'm drawing this on, so I'm like signaling with my hands where this would be out on that paper.
Okay.
But no, it is a little complicated, which is why I like to draw it out. It's easier when you can see it.
Well, maybe Zach, we can book you for like a class, then you can teach.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, then we can learn. Because I mean, like, for us on the other side, we have no idea. We just hear, oh, like this, like that, but we don't know enough of the details,
Sure.
and we shouldn't really give any clients any advice whatsoever. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Like, so, I mean, you would be in the middle, like your personal assets. That would be like a normal living trust is going to own just your normal assets. It's not giving you any asset protection. It's fully revocable. You can make changes to it whenever you want. It's really easy to use administratively. And then off to the side, you'd have like your LLC. That's like owning and operating your business. To the other side, we would have that spendthrift trust. We call it an investment trust. But Nevada Asset Protection Trust, it's the same thing. But on this side, we would have those assets at rest, those investment accounts, your home, those assets you're not living off of day to day. We would put it in that type of trust. There's all kinds of rules on using that correctly. I mean, you can't call me and say, Zach, I hit a pedestrian in my car. I need to protect all my assets. And I would say,
oh, it'd be too late by then.
Yeah, I would say, no, you needed to do that 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah. It's too late at that point. So there's all kinds of rules we got to follow. Again, we don't have a silver bullet. But we have some great tools. If you do it at the right time, in the right way, we have some very, very strong protections that have been put in our statutes, have been verified by the Nevada Supreme Court. So it's probably the strongest asset protections you can get in the United States.
Yes,
people come here from all over,
time, right?
So we're limited. Like other states, we can't like protect property in other states just because California is going to say, no, this house is sitting in California. Your asset protection trust is against our public policies. We're just going to ignore it, type of thing. But
got it.
If you're in Nevada and your assets in Nevada and the event happened in Nevada, we're pretty very favorable.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
got it. Zach, okay, so let's change gears. Because we only have you for a limited time.
Sure.
And you might have to like drink some water because we asked you so many questions.
I'll take a break to get my drink right now.
Right. No, so I would like to know, for example, let's talk about probate. There's like a lot of confusion about probate, right? So there's the one that people are like, oh my gosh, I have to go to court. And just so you know, I literally have I just had a call in one of my cases got postponed. Like literally just got postponed a week later. You know what I mean? So I know that there are other attorneys, and I've never worked with anybody who does, but I've heard where attorneys are like, oh, you don't have to go through the probate process. It's called an administrative something. I don't know. What is it?
That would be called an independent administration.
Okay, independent administration.
Yeah. So we do those for clients, and we're very selective on when we actually do that for clients. So, because one, those probate processes, they are there to protect people.
Yes.
You've talked about, people, they can administer these estates without ever coming to town. They're placing an immense amount of trust in their realtor or the administrator to, not rip them off or to not take assets out of the house. Right.
Right.
So those, like the process for the home, they're trying to protect from like attorneys cutting deals with real estate investors and selling houses under market rates kind of thing.
That's exactly what the Review Journal reviewed.
Yeah. The Review Journal did a big thing on that. And I I was externing for the probate commissioner when some of that was going down when I was in law school. I externed and worked in the probate office to see that side of things. Oh yeah, I mean, it was a big issue. The commissioner at the time, he was grilling some of these real estate investors and attorneys, because I mean, they just were not being fair to their clients at the end of the day. So so we don't like going through that independent administration in some circumstances. If it's like a single heir and they're the only ones that we have to answer to, I mean, we'll do it. Yeah, I mean, that's easier. But like if we got 4 siblings and they don't get along, it's like we won't even touch that, because you're just opening yourself up for criticism and fights. So we like to, when we need to, go through all the formal processes so we can show, hey, we're above board. We did everything the right way. We got our appraisals. Here are the expenses. So, I mean, that is there to protect administrators and to show they're doing stuff the right way. But I mean, for people where it makes sense, yeah, I mean, it's great. We can skip like the probate sale. We don't have to wait 3 weeks to get on calendar and do all the notices. Because I mean, if we do a sale hearing and our buyer drops out, I mean, we're looking at like another like $2,500 in legal fees to get after we get the new buyer and do all the new petitions and notices and certificates, and getting on calendar and showing up again. Like it becomes expensive administratively. So we like to make sure we get good buyers and keep them warm while we're waiting for those sale. While we're waiting for the sale to
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for example, I mean, like, you know, you've probably seen, let's say you already have your buyer, right? Buyer B. I mean, buyer number 1 buyer. So buyer A. And then somebody comes in and bids above buyer A, and that's buyer B. So what happens then?
Yeah. So this was a little bit different when we were all in person. It was like,
yeah,
it was like pretty high intensity, because you're sitting there and their person's getting outbid, and the buyer, like the original buyer, is sitting there crying because they've lost their dream home. And, and then I, as the attorney, like got to go in and be like, bye buyer, here's my new buyer. And we literally like you would have people bidding, and then whoever bids the highest, now I have to go in and kind of sidebar with them and say, okay, here's the purchase price, because the buyer B has to meet every term of that sale, of the original sale of buyer A. So if you have contingencies put in place or stipulations put in place, they have to meet all those stipulations. So like a big one is, if the buyer was buying the house as is, buyer B can't come in and put it contingent upon inspection. It's as is. They're coming in as is. The only thing that changes is the sale price. So what I would have to do at that point is I would have to get all of the buyer's information. I would have to get buyer B's real estate, buyer B's broker, buyer B's fees they're paying to their agent and their broker. I would get all that information down. I would drive across town to my office, get that information to my paralegal. We would draft that up that day, and then get an amended
court order,
amended sale order showing the new sale price. And then we get that sent down. The court reviews it. They sign the order. Then we send it down to the clerk's office, and they put their stamp on it, and then we can record it. So it's
but Zach, I mean, don't you have to restart the appraisal process? Due diligence gotta start again, or how does?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like buyer A did all the due diligence. I mean, buyer B, they're very limited. They have to take it as is and just close. They don't
They don't get to start all over again.
No.
But what happens if I mean, if they're getting a loan, okay, right? Yeah. Buyer A is getting FHA loan. That FHA loan, let's say buyer B doesn't qualify for FHA, right? Yeah. They're still willing to pay, but they're going to go conventional. Then what?
Honestly,
because you can't.
Yeah, honestly, I've only had cases bid by investors, and they're typically coming in, and they have some guy who's put up money to pay cash for this. So, I mean, that's a great question. Obviously, like if you have like a VA loan from buyer A, buyer B is not a veteran, they're not getting buyer A's VA loan.
Exactly.
So I mean, they would have to come in with their own financing, but I mean, all the other terms are staying the same. So,
okay.
I mean, they have to be approved to actually buy it. They have to show that they're a bona fide buyer and they're actually able to buy that house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, it would really, really, be terrible for buyer A, just because they lost it by $1,000, because the bids are literally $1,000, right?
Yeah, it starts out, I think they typically start at like $5,000 for the initial up bid. So you can't have somebody who comes in and bids $1 more, right?
Right.
So not like eBay. Mel's auction.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, they'll do, just to show, they'll do a minimum amount on the first bid to open bidding. And then after that, it's like just $1,000.
Yeah. So yeah, that's interesting, Zach, because like you said, most of the time, people who are bidding, they're always just cash investors. It's very rare, right, to see like real homeowners bidding.
Yeah, I think, I mean, it's been an interesting market, right?
Yeah.
Where, I mean, in the last decade and a half, you've had houses increase, I mean, multiple times in value.
Right.
And so incredible investor opportunities.
Like a 30% increase since 2010. Yeah.
Right. But if you look at, like, I would say more recently, I mean, if you have a decent house, and there's not a lot of upsides right now in the market, I think. And so we have not been getting bids.
Overbidders.
We have not been getting overbidders on most properties. If it's like a real fixer-upper and we know that.
Yeah, when it's really low.
And we tell most of our clients, like, probate is not a place to come to get top dollar for things.
Right.
You want to get in and out. This house is sitting vacant. It has all these issues.
Right. I mean, could be vandalized.
Oh, yeah. I remember I had one specifically. We had a person living in the house who the administrator was like, you need to evict him. She's like, I'm not going to evict him. It's like, no, but you need to. But she came in and she did all this work on the house. And because she couldn't get that person out, her house, like, she put in $80,000 of work on the house. But just timing wise, the house dropped like $100,000 in value. So it's like she put in $80,000 of work to try to get more money. And she ended up like netting like $180,000 loss in this property because it was $100,000 less than it would have been selling the way it was. So we don't like gambling people's inheritance like that. We say, no, like, here's a property as is. It's usually not worth it for you to be the one to rehab this property and try to sell it. Let's get you some money now. We'll get the headache off your plate. I mean, and that's where some of these investors, I mean, they do a good job of coming in and kind of taking that burden off of somebody's plate, getting them some money out of the house, and just moving on.
Zach, what do you say? Because right now the market is so slow, right? I mean, it's a snail's crawl right now. Seriously, on the buy side versus the sell side, right?
Sure.
So, I mean, like, I do have clients that they're like, oh my gosh, Yvonne, why can't you just sell my property? Well, you're overpriced. No, we want to drop the price. And I'm like, okay, then you're just going to sit. And they're going back to their attorney and they're like, well, is there a way that they can take the property and change it into property management instead of, he got a smile over there. Instead of selling it, like, what is there a discussion here, Zach? I mean, educate us, because we don't know,
Sure. I mean, here's my perspective, and I have some friends who are just astute real estate investors. I mean, one of my college roommates has like $50 million in properties. And so, I mean, he does some education and I've chimed in and so I'm familiar with the space, and I will have people come in and they own like a 16-plex and they think it's the greatest thing in the world and everybody and anybody is going to want this, but they don't have family. So it's like they've named they've named a sibling and a girlfriend and a nephew as joint owners in this property, thinking that these guys are going to run this business together and live off this property for the rest of their lives. And it's like, it just doesn't really work like that. Like, those landlords, they have a lot of skills. They know how to crunch the numbers. They know how to get new tenants. They know how to rehab a property. And usually the people they're leaving it to don't have any of those skills, and they don't know each other, or they don't get along at all. And so to kind of throw them into the fire and make them business partners is just a recipe for disaster. and it really is.
So you inherit these kind of cases and you see it.
Yeah, I mean, we see it, and I try to steer when I see it coming down the road. I'll try to dissuade them of like this fantasy that everybody's gonna get along. And like even in families, if we have siblings and there's multiple properties, the kids, they're not putting all the properties in like a joint LLC and running this together. They're saying, hey, you take these 3 properties, I'm gonna take these 2 properties, and we're gonna do our own thing. It's just, I don't think it's a great idea. I'm saying this as somebody who works with my family and I enjoy working with my family. I work with my dad and my brother. But I understand that for a lot of families, working together is not a great recipe for success.
Right.
But yes, I mean, we see it in those circumstances. I encourage the beneficiaries to liquidate, and just, guys, you just liquidate. You're all going to take your money. If you want to be a real estate investor, just take your money and go find your deals. Or buy out the other beneficiaries. Go get your loan, buy the other beneficiary's share, and then you keep and you run the business. And yeah, I mean, there's just so many messy things. Like, we have situations where like one beneficiary is living in the home.
Yeah.
And now their siblings are like co-owners of this home.
Oh, that is so typical, Zach.
Yeah, it's a huge thing. I don't like seeing it because it's like from the non-resident of the home, it's like, I have this money, but it's tied up in this house my siblings living in. I never get the benefit of that.
Right, exactly.
And some families like don't care about the money, and they're just happy that like their sibling is okay and like living in a home kind of thing.
Right.
But I mean, for most people, they don't like that. They would just want their money and be able to walk away.
Cash out. Yeah, they do want to cash out. Yeah, I mean, like, I do have a friend who's in exactly that same situation. Yeah, but the property was actually in New Jersey.
Okay. Yeah.
And it just became ugly.
Yeah, it gets ugly.
It does. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, there's so much to talk about when it comes to, this kind of thing, because not everybody, you think that they're going to act a certain way and people don't.
Sure.
Yeah, everybody does, we're not robots. Like, we all have a different brain, and what I want to do could be different from, what Pete would do, in the same situation, right? Yeah. And you are the one kind of like advising them, okay, you should do this. I mean, for example, do you tell your people, hey, make sure you have insurance?
Yeah. It's like, get car insurance, get home insurance.
I mean, like, get insurance, right? Like, because house could blow. I mean, could be burnt, and then what?
Yeah. I mean, I had one. I'm closing this case right now. The administrator, we never advise this, but sometimes the administrators will take the vehicles and drive them back to where they live.
Yeah.
I was like, get car insurance. It's not expensive. It's like parked vehicle. I mean, like, it's not going to be as much as your normal car insurance. But yeah, I mean, she drove it back to Colorado and totaled the car on the way back to Colorado. She was okay. She was fine. But the car was totaled. But now, like, the will specifically named that vehicle to somebody. And now we had some cash payout to actually give that person because we had that car insurance in place.
But if there was no car insurance, there would be no cash payout, right?
There'd be nothing. And that could come back on the administrator. I mean, that could come back on them and say, I mean, that's their fault. They got the car accident. They created the loss to the estate. And so, I mean, it protects them from, litigation, really. As an aside, we don't litigate. We don't like doing contested estates. So we generally are vetting our probates pretty carefully to, make sure that everybody can work together long enough to get the estate closed without too many issues.
Zach, what do they pay typically? Like, let's say I'm calling you because my family member passed away.
Mm-hmm.
They have a car. They have a property in Nevada. The value is let's say for easy math, 500,000.
Sure.
Like, what can a family expect to pay an attorney? Obviously, not like exactly what you charge, but because we have no idea. You know what I mean?
There's so many ways that like attorneys can collect their fees.
Mm-hmm.
We have been in a transitionary phase where we've been doing this for several decades.
35 years.
Yeah. So we have a pretty good like beat on here's what this probate's going to cost. Like
Mm-hmm.
we'll make sure we ask the right questions so we know what's involved.
Mm-hmm.
And the court has been very critical of attorneys' fees lately.
Mm-hmm.
To the nth degree, like it's been really dumb. Like they're cutting and slashing our hourly fees left and right, which just blows my mind. We're getting, usually as the attorneys, we're getting paid less than everybody. We're getting paid less than the realtor. We're getting paid less than the administrator. It's like we do a lot of work for these clients.
Do you guys charge hourly, or do you guys do a percentage?
So we'll do both. There's a statutory fee, which we almost never do, but it says like we get X% of the first $10,000, and then we get X% of the next $15,000, and then we get X% of the next
That's by statute?
Yeah, by statute. And we can say if we agree with the client and the client says, yeah, you could charge a statutory rate, the probate court can't really do anything about that because it's built into the statute on what we can be paid. And then we can bill hourly. So like us right now, we're billing at $4.75 an hour for probate work. And depending on what type of probate we're doing, there's like different levels that we know take a certain amount of time. Like for a general, like full-blown probate administration, we know that's going to take 25 to 30 hours of work. And so we'll kind of tell the client, hey, this is going to be about 25 to 30 hours of work. We bill at $4.75. So we're going to end up somewhere around $10,000 or $12,000 kind of thing. Or if it's a smaller estate, we could quote, yeah, it's going to take 10 to 15 hours of work at that hourly rate. So here's kind of our price window. But it still leaves a lot of uncertainty, and people don't like that. So because like we can vet our cases and we know what's going to happen, we have been moving to like a more of a flat fee model where we will kind of just build in the headroom a little bit. So they're happy knowing this is the exact amount of money.
But do they pay you up front, Zach? Because not everybody has money.
No. Yeah. So in most circumstances, we're not taking any money up front in most circumstances.
Okay.
If we know a house is going to sell, we can guarantee ourselves that we're going to get paid. So we're willing to come in without any fees up front. But it might be a year and a half till we get paid. We'll work for that amount of time, but we don't get paid till the end, till the court approves those fees.
So this is the time when you actually get paid after the realtor.
Oh yeah, we get paid after everybody.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, we are the last ones to get paid.
Yeah, you literally are, and it could, like you said, take forever.
Yeah. So we got to kind of keep them in the pipeline and keep them moving. And the frustrating part on our end is if an administrator is dragging their feet, it's affecting our bottom line because it's taken a long time for us to get paid. So
do you guys appoint? Usually they have two, like a co, do you guys appoint people in your office, or do you because what if they only have, I don't know, what's the
so I served in that capacity when I was in law school. I was the one cleaning out the house and getting the estate sale person and working with the real estate agent and going down to the bank and doing all those things.
Yeah.
my time is more effective in the office doing legal work and not administrative work. So we don't like doing that if we can avoid it at all possible.
Right.
I mean, there might be something like one heir comes in and says, hey, I'm out of state. There's no will. I can't serve. All we have is this one bank account and there's no creditors. I might be willing to serve as the administrator in that circumstance because I'm not doing very much administrative work. If I am in that situation, I have to choose, though. I have to choose between my attorney's fees and my administrator fees. I can't charge both. I can only take one fee. So it's like we don't like doing both jobs because we can only get paid for one job.
Got it. Okay.
But
Zach, we're running out of time.
Yeah.
So can you just make sure you introduce yourself before you go, and then let them know what your phone number is, so that if our audience needs an attorney, counsel, they can reach out to you. How's that?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, I'm Zach Morris. I work with Morris Estate Planning Attorneys. We got my email signature just popped up there for a second.
Yes.
It went away.
Back on. Right.
My email is Zach, ZACH, at morrisep.com. Our phone number is 702-471-0990. We do have 24-hour phones. After hours, it is a call service. But I mean, you can at least get to a person, leave a message, it'll get to me. But yeah, I'm happy to hop on the phone and answer any probate questions with anybody. We do free consultations. And if you decide to move forward with us, we just kind of build that into the legal fees. But I mean, we want to make sure that we're working with people we like working with too. So we kind of use that initial meeting as like an evaluation. Are we a good fit type of thing? So generally we're not paying people to come in and figure out that we're not a good fit. If we are a good fit, then yeah, let's engage and move forward.
Cool. Pete, you got anything to add?
No, I just maybe if you could refer us maybe a guest, or can you recommend any kind of restaurant that you enjoyed recently?
Ooh, restaurant I enjoyed recently.
Cool.
Well, we just got a China Mama in my office complex, just down up the parking lot. Yeah, we got a new China Mama. So
where's your office? Is it in Henderson?
Yeah, it's in Henderson.
That's why I knew it.
We're on like 215 in Pecos or 215 in St. Rose. But yeah, there is a China Mama here now. So
was it good?
It was good. I had the one at what's the casino? The Palms?
Yeah. No.
No, not the Palms.
It was the Palace Station.
Palace Station. On the Strip, there's the China Mama. I don't know. It wasn't. That was the first one I went to. I was like, this is nothing to rave about.
Thank you.
I felt like because the one down in Chinatown,
right,
much better. This one I felt like was really good as well.
Okay, that's fair.
All right.
Take it. Hey, at least he was truthful about it.
It's true. All right,
so
guys.
Zach like Chinese food once in a while?
I like all kinds of food. I'm like a big into pizza. My favorite pizza places, I'm gonna say Double Zero. It's my favorite pizza place in town.
Zero? I never heard of that.
What's that?
Double Zero is also in Chinatown. So they do a Neapolitan pizza that is excellent. If you're a Neapolitan person, technically, if you're a purist, if you're a pizza purist, it's technically not a true like Italian Neapolitan pizza because they use a sourdough bread, but it's amazing. It's great. You would love it.
It's in the closet with the tiki place.
It is?
I can't remember what's next.
Yeah,
to it.
I'm
But
looking
yeah,
at it. It's that little strip mall.
Really?
It's excellent.
Along, yeah.
The other one, my second favorite, I kind of go back and forth. Double Zero is my favorite right now, but my other one it's called Signora's Pizza, and she used to only have a pizza truck, and it would be parked on Fridays, on like Eastern and Ione, or Eastern, like close to Eastern and what's this cross streets? Anyways, but it was up there by that Lowe's on Eastern and like St. Rose. It's off the side a little bit. And then she would park at like an RC Willie up in Summerlin on Saturdays. But she now has a restaurant open, a physical location up in Summerlin. So if you want some good pizza, go to Signora's or 00.
Okay, we're gonna try that, Pete.
That's good to know. Yeah, pizza.
Yeah, good to know.
And then I'm a Neapolitan guy. If you're a New York slice guy, there's some other pizzas. I only like excellent New York slices. I don't like an average New York pizza slice. I like an average Neapolitan slice, but I'm more of a Neapolitan guy.
Okay, really quickly, what's the difference? Because I really don't know. Do you, Pete?
Not really.
Yeah. So I mean, Neapolitan, it's like a whole thing, but like a pure Neapolitan, it's gonna be like really basic ingredients, and this is like out of Italy. So it's like your crust is just bread and water, flour and water and salt. Like that's it.
Okay.
You're not putting anything else in your bread.
Yeah.
And then your sauce typically is like very minimal, like seasoning as well. You're gonna have a specific type of tomato, like a San Marzana tomato, right. And then you would have like a high moisture mozzarella. The purist would have a Bufala mozzarella, which is like,
look at this guy. He's talking
from
about
a specific cow in Italy. Like it's a whole thing. You can't though. You cannot get cheese with the right flavor here in the U.S. It's just not as flavorful as what you get out in Italy. So it's like you have to add some flavor to your sauce.
He sounds like he's been to Italy.
I haven't.
Yeah.
I need to.
You need to go?
I need to also. I need to go back.
If anybody is willing to sponsor a trip to Italy so I can go eat some pizza, please.
Hey, you know what? Do not be surprised because Pete sometimes surprises us. So he's a world traveler, and he's just Pete. How many countries did you like come back from this year?
I don't know, like 3 or 4.
Yeah, outside of the United States. So
cool.
Yeah. So
anyway, so that's a Neapolitan pizza. Your crust is going to be chewy, and soft. Okay, and then with a New York slice, generally you're getting like a crunchy crust.
Crunchy.
And the way you do that is, I mean, you're putting oil in your flour when you're making your dough.
Okay.
You're gonna have some sugar in the flour as well in your dough recipe to give that dough a little more flavor. And then generally your sauce, again, depending on if you like a spicy pizza or a sweet pizza, I mean, you might prepare your sauce a little different, but I make pizza at home. I'm like a scientist, whereas like I'm always messing around with different things, and I'll go eat at any pizza place for science. If somebody tells me it's bad, I'll go just because it's new and I want to see how they did it. So.
Oh my gosh, Pete, that's crazy. So if he weren't an attorney, he'd probably be a pizza maker somewhere.
Right,
I don't know if I'd make any money making pizza, but I probably would enjoy it.
A foodie in Vegas.
Yeah, a pizza foodie for sure. We're gonna have to send you some pizza places and then get your reviews on it.
I'll give you my reviews. Yeah, send them over.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being on the call. We really appreciate your time. And that was so good information. And if there's somebody else that who's a professional that you can think of that we should interview, so that we can educate our audience, that would be awesome.
Sure. Yeah.
And
I know we kind of jumped like on all kinds of topics and talked a lot of like the people issues that we encounter in probate. But I mean, if we want to be a little more like on topic and like teach something, we could do a different format too. But no, thank you for having me.
Yeah, we I do masterminds every single month, and usually we have about 25 to 30 people come on. So we be happy to invite you to come on a mastermind and teach us.
Sure, yeah.
So we can be on topic, not everywhere. Yes.
Well, all right. We'll have a prepared itinerary.
Awesome. Thank you again. Thank you so much.
All right, guys.
Thanks, Yvonne. Thanks, Pete. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Bye.
Bye.